Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about two new 50-pence coins from the United Kingdom, some of the most collectible coins in circulation. While most 50p coins are worth just face value, certain designs and rare mintages can be worth big money. In this video, show you what to look for, which 50p coins are the most valuable, and how much your coins could really be worth. Let's get started. First up, the new pence. Coins were first introduced in 1971 when Britain transitioned from the old pounds, shillings and pence system to the decimal system we know today. At the time, the 2 pence coin, the denomination we're discussing here, was a large bronze coin weighing 7.12 grams and measuring 25.91 millimeters across. The obverse features the classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth, designed by Arnold Machen, showing the Queen wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait was used on all UK coins from 1968 until 1980 for so year. 1976 new pence coin has that iconic early decimal era look. The reverse design, created by Christopher Ironside, shows the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet with the German motto "Eat dear," meaning I serve. Around this central motif you will see the words new pence at the top and the number 2 at the bottom, which tells you it's a 2 pence coin. Now let's talk about why 1976 matters. The mintage for the 1976 2 new pence coin was actually very high, which means these coins are not considered rare in the traditional sense. Over 418 million of them were struck for circulation, which makes them one of the more common years. However, 1976 was an interesting time in British history. Was the year after the decimal coinage had fully settled into everyday life, and these coins were still relatively new to most of the population. For collectors today, 1976 coins are worth looking at, mainly if they are in exceptionally high grade. If you happen to have one that is uncirculated with full mint luster and no scratches or bag marks, then you have something that might appeal to serious coin collectors or to someone building a date run of decimal coins. The metal composition is another point worth discussing, because it tells you why these coins look and feel the way they do. The 1976 2 new pence coin is made of bronze, which is 97% copper, 2.5% zinc and 0.5% tin. This means that over time these coins often develop a lovely natural patina, a sort of reddish brown or even dark chocolate color, especially if they've been circulating for decades. If you find one that still has its original bright coppery color, that is a good sign. It might have been stored carefully or removed from circulation early on. In fact, one of the best ways to get a coin in that pristine condition is to find one from a 1976 UK brilliant uncirculated mint set, or from the Royal Mint proof sets issued that year. These sets were sold directly to collectors and were never intended for circulation, so the coins inside are often flawless and much more appealing than a typical pocket change find. Speaking of mint sets, let's talk about the 1976 mint sets that so many collectors look for. The Royal Mint produce presentation packs, proof sets and uncirculated sets every year as part of their collector program. For 1976, the standard mint set included all the decimal coins of the time P1 PN to P5 P10 P and 50p. Few here about pack that may refer to bulk collections or sealed bags of brilliant uncirculated coins sold in multiples of 40 pieces, something dealers often offer to other collectors. The important thing is that coins from these sets are in much better condition than normal and therefore have higher numismatic value, even if they are technically common. So if you're serious about adding a premium quality 1976 new pence coin to your collection, seeking out a coin from one of these mint sets is your best bet. Now let's get into value, which is probably the reason most of you clicked on this video. A typical 1976 2 new pence coin in average circulated condition is worth only its face value, meaning to pence. That's because of the very high mintage and the fact that there is still a large supply of them floating around. However, when we start looking at coins in excellent condition, the prices climb. In brilliant uncirculated grade, a 1976 2 new pence coin can fetch between £1 and £3, depending on the market. Bones from proof sets which have a mirror-like finish and frosted designs can be worth A bit more, sometimes £5 or more if they are still in their original presentation. Case and if you have a coin that has been graded by a professional grading service and received a very high grade, such that price can jump significantly because collectors are willing to pay a premium for top population examples. Collectors should also be aware of varieties and errors. While 1976 is not known for any major design changes, the famous change from new pence to 2 pence happened later in 1980. There are occasional striking errors that slip through. Quality control examples include off-center strikes, double strikes, or coins that are missing parts of their design due to clogged dies. These error coins can sell for much higher prices, sometimes £20, £50, or even more depending on the severity and rarity of the error. If you come across a strange-looking coin, it's always worth comparing it to a normal example or even posting it in a coin collecting forum to get expert opinions before you spend or sell it. One thing many new collectors forget is that presentation and storage matter a great deal when it comes to coin values. A coin that has been cleaned or polished will often lose value because collectors prefer original, unaltered surfaces. If you have a nice 1976 coin, store it in a coin flip capsule or album to protect it from fingerprints, moisture, and scratches. Coins from mint sets should ideally remain in their original packaging, as breaking them out often reduces their resale value. Serious collectors are willing to pay more for coins that have been kept. Now let's quickly discuss historical context, because coins are more than just money. They are little time capsules of the era in which they were made. In 1976, the UK was facing economic challenges, including high inflation and political changes. The coinage of the time reflects a nation that had just transitioned to a new monetary system and was embracing modernity. Having a 1976 coin in your collection is like holding a piece of British history from the mid-1970s, a time of punk music, new cultural movements, and significant changes in daily life. Many collectors appreciate coins not just for their metal content or value, but for the story they tell about the past. So there you have it, the full story of the 1976 United Kingdom new pence coin, from its design and mintage to its current value, and collector tips. Whether you're just getting started in coin collecting or you're an experienced numismatist, this is a great coin to include in a complete decimal coinage set. Check your change, browse your old coin jars, and maybe even pick up a brilliant uncirculated or proof example from a mint set to add some sparkle to your collection. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a future video on coin history and collecting tips. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you have a 1976 new pence coin, and if you've ever found a rare variety or error coin. I'd love to hear about it. Next up, the 2 new pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the UK's switch to decimal currency, which was one of the biggest monetary reforms in British history. For over a decade, from 1971 until 1981, the coin carried the words new pence above the denomination number, as the term new was meant to distinguish the decimal pennies from the old pre-decimal pennies and tuppence coins. Your 1980 coin is one of the later new pence issues, just before the big changeover in 1982, when the legend on the coin was officially changed to say 2 pence. This means 1980 coins still have that early decimal charm and can be an interesting part of a complete date run for collectors who like to own one coin from every year. Let's talk about the design. The obverse, like earlier years, features the second definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth, designed by Arnold Machen. The Queen is shown wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. This portrait was used on all UK coins from 1968 until 1984. On the reverse, we have Christopher Ironside's classic design, the badge of the Prince of Wales, with 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, and the motto "Eat Dear," meaning serve on a ribbon. The denomination is shown as a large number 2 at the bottom with new tense around the top edge. The coin is made of bronze with a composition of 97% copper to 0.5% zinc and 0.5% tin, which gives it that warm reddish-brown tone when new and allows it to develop a deeper patina over time. When it comes to mintage, 1980 was a busy year. For the Royal Mint, but not necessarily a rare one, over 308 million new pence coins were struck for circulation in 1980, making this a very common date. That means most examples you find in your change are only worth face value to pence. However, condition makes a huge difference in numismatics, and coins in brilliant uncirculated condition, especially those from Royal Mint sets, can be worth more to collectors. The fact that the mintage was high means circulated examples are easy to find, but pristine examples are scarcer because most were handled and spent over the last for decades. This brings us to mint sets, often referred to casually as by some collectors and dealers, especially when discussing bulk purchases. In 1980, the Royal Mint issued both brilliant, uncirculated BU coin sets and proof sets that included the 2 new pence coin. These sets were sold directly to collectors and kept out of circulation, meaning the coins inside have perfect or near perfect surfaces, often with full original mint luster. A coin from one of these sets can look dramatically deader than a typical circulated coin. Collectors seeking top quality examples will almost always prefer a coin from a mint set or proof set. So if you're looking to add a 1982 new pence to your date run, try to get one from a mint set rather than pulling one from pocket change. Now let's dive into the current value. A 19802 new pence coin in average circulated condition is still worth only face value. Can fetch for £1 to £6 or more if they are still in their original packaging. And for those of you who are serious about grading, coins that have been certified and graded at or higher can achieve significantly higher prices at auction. As with most common date coins, the real value lies in condition. The better the coin, the more a collector is willing to pay. It's worth mentioning that 1980 does not have the dramatic varieties we see in other years. The big new pence versus 2 pence changeover happened in 1982 and the famous 1983 error, where a few coins were accidentally struck with the wrong legend, is unique to that year. That said, minting errors can occur in any year, so be on the lookout for MIS strikes, double strikes, off-center coins, or coins with missing detail due to filled dies. These types of minting anomalies can add a tremium to an otherwise common coin, and some error coins have sold for tens or even hundreds of pounds depending on their rarity and appeal. Storage is another key factor in protecting your coin's value. Many collectors make the mistake of cleaning their coins, which can leave scratches or an unnatural shine that actually reduces their desirability. Instead, if you have a nice 1980 coin, store it in a coin flip capsule or album to prevent it from coming into contact with moisture, air, and human oils that can cause spots or corrosion. Coins from mint sets should ideally remain sealed in their original packaging, as breaking them out can reduce their resale value. If you do choose to remove a coin for display purposes, handle it only by the edges and use cotton gloves to prevent damage. It's also fun to look at the historical context of the year 1980. This was the dawn of a new decade, with Margaret Thatcher serving as Prime Minister, the UK economy undergoing significant shifts and cultural trends moving rapidly toward what we now think of as the 1980s aesthetic. Holding a 1980 new pence coin is like holding a tiny piece of British history from that era, reminder of what everyday life was like over 40 years ago. For many collectors, coins are not just about their metal or value, but about the story they tell, and 1980 coins are a snapshot of Britain as it was stepping into a new political and cultural landscape. So to wrap up, the 1982 new pence coin is a common but charming piece of decimal coinage history. Is generally worth only face value unless you have a brilliant, uncirculated, or proof example, in which case it can be worth a few pounds. To the right collector, look for coins in mint state condition, preferably from Royal Mint sets, and keep an eye out for unusual errors that might make your coin more valuable. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future deep dives into British coins. Drop a comment below and let me know if you have a 1980 new pence coin, whether you've found one in your change or whether you've gone out of your way to at a high grade. Thanks for watching.